Yes. Yeah, hello, welcome. Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome to hi everyone, welcome to Dr. Dinesh Pharma. So, okay. Yeah, we are really sorry for the slight delay. There was a little connection error. Okay, getting back. So yesterday in the yesterday's class, and thank you all very much for who all have watched and personally commented and replied me on this topic also. So we are looking into the UPSC Drugs Inspector Medical Devices topic-wise insights. And in this topic-wise insights, okay, we are going through the MDR 2007 Medical Device 2017 rules, which are a very important, crucial part of this examination, of the medical devices examination. Okay, so going forward, this will be continued and this topic-wise insights. So now we are going live. Actually, it is so from today, I would like to make a statement, or I would like to make a small notice that from today, continuously, so there will be we will go live every day 3 p.m. Okay, so you can also post your questions or we can interact. So this will be an interactive session from now on. Okay, so moving forward to the till yesterday's session we have discussed we were discussing about chapter 1 of MDR 2017. In the yesterday's session we have also discussed that there are totally 12 chapters and 97 rules of MDR 2017. All the 97 rules of MDR 2017, Medical Devices Rules 2017, were fit into, okay, they were merged, or they were fit into totally a total of 12 chapters. Okay, in this we are going one by one, and we can't cover all the 12 chapters at a pace, okay, within our stipulated time, but we can go through the most important sessions and most important parts. And out of that, in chapter 1 we are dealing with the rules, rule 1, 2 and 3. Chapter 1 usually covers 3 rules. Chapter 1, rule 1, 2 and 3, and we are dealing with rule 3. We have discussed about rule 3I till yesterday, the rule 3I till yesterday, that was about the Central Medical Device Testing Laboratories. Okay, till 3I was about the Central Device Testing Laboratories, CDTLs and C and MDTLs. Okay, and today we will go through some other rules of MDR 2017. Okay, so in rule 3, the next one is rule J. Okay, 3J. Next one is we have rule 3J. The 3J deals with the rule 3J deals with the change in the constitution of a licensee. The change in the constitution of a licensee. Okay, so this rule is about, this rule, exactly what it is about, I will just explain. Okay, we can't go into details of these rules, but this rule, exactly what is it about? It is about when a licensee, okay, when a person who is already licensed, who already holds a license, a person or a firm or an organization who already holds a license from this, according to the rules of MDR 2017, okay, then if there is a change in the constitution of that licensee, then what is the rule? Okay, what all comes under the changes in the constitution? So what change in the constitution is accredited as a rule? Okay, these things are covered under rule J. Okay, in this, if it is a firm, again it has subclauses J1 and J2. The subclauses are, if it is a firm, okay, if it is a firm, the change in the proprietorship. The change in the proprietorship, that means whether it is changed from, if the licensee, okay, if the particular licensee, if the licensee is a firm or any person or a firm, okay, if it has been changed from proprietorship to partnership, if it has changed from proprietorship or to partnership or vice versa, anything, anyway comes under this rule J1. Anything comes under rule 3J1. Anything, if the change is between a proprietorship to partnership or partnership to proprietorship, if the changes in the constitution of the licensee, if the licensee has changed. Okay, what has changed? What are the changes come under rule? Is that the changes of the deed, like proprietorship to partnership or partnership to proprietorship, if it is a firm. Okay, and if it is a company, whether it has been changed. Okay, and in this, in J2, we also have the subclauses. In Rule 3J2, we have subclauses like A and B. Okay, in this, when can this come under Rule 3J2? Okay, when does this come under Rule 3J2 is if the company has been changed from a private ownership to a public ownership, or vice versa. Again, private ownership to a public ownership, or from public ownership to private ownership. Anyway comes under 3J2A. Okay, anything comes under 3J2A if it has been changed. Yeah, then that will be considered as the change in the constitution of a licensee. Okay, the change in the constitution does not necessarily mean all the changes. Okay, what all the changes are included, what all the changes of the licensee are included are discussed here, only those come under MDR 2017. Okay, this is the part A, and the part B is about the shares, Okay, if there is a change in the ownership shares, if there is a change in ownership shares more than 50%, change in ownership share greater than 50%, or if there is a change in the constitution of the management, if there is any subsidiary body that is attached, if there is any subsidiary management or subsidiary body that has been attached to the management or has been removed from the management, that comes under 3B. Okay, so this is about Rule 3J. Okay, Rule 3J deals with, so if we are not okay with all this nonsense, okay, we can leave it all this. Okay, definitely this is something a nonsense, but what is important is what is 3J is important. The 3J is regarding the change in the constitution of licensee. When is the licensee considered as the change in the constitution? Okay, so this was about Rule 3J, and moving forward we will see about the Rule 3K. Very important. 3J was not that important, so we just moved it away. And Rule 3K is very important in MDR 2017 point of view. Okay, what is the clinical evidence? The definitions we are seeing about the Rule 3 definitions. In this we have about the clinical evidence. So what is considered as a clinical evidence according to MDR 2017? What is a clinical evidence? Okay, so what is the clinical evidence? So this clinical evidence if it is with respect to a in vitro medical device, medical diagnostic device. Okay, so we have these clinical evidences are different. Again, they have subsections, they have subclauses based upon the type of device. This is again based upon the types of devices. Okay, in this the first one whatever we are seeing, K1 is about a in vitro diagnostic medical device. Okay, so what is the clinical evidence to a in vitro diagnostic medical device? So what is the clinical evidence? Is nothing but it is all the information. It is nothing but the information. Clinical evidence here means what all the information is derived from this diagnostic test. So using a particular diagnostic medical device, we have performed. Okay, we have used someone has performed a diagnostic test and they have used a diagnostic medical device for that particular purpose. Okay, using that particular, what all the information was derived. Okay, all that information and whether it supports its scientific validity, all that information. Okay, along with the information, whether it supports its scientific validity or not, like whether it is in compliance with the regulations of the rules, and whether it is in compliance with the whatever the information that is given according to the diagnostic medical device. Okay, whether it is supporting its scientific validity or not. Scientific validity and the performance validity. All these things are covered under clinical evidence for an in vitro diagnostic medical device. Okay, and next we have a in vitro medical device. In vitro and we have, no, not in vitro, we have a medical device. This is a diagnostic medical device and this is a medical device. We have gone through the different. So if someone is not clear about the differences between a diagnostic medical device and a active medical device, we have this in our yesterday's video, in our previous video. You can please go through. Okay, in the previous video we have I have detailed about the differences between a diagnostic medical device and a active medical device. Okay, very clearly with examples. So what is the clinical evidence with respect to a medical device then? Clinical evidence with respect to a medical device. What is it? It is the clinical data. Okay, here it is the information received from the specimen. With respect to a diagnostic medical device, it is the information received from the specimen. But with regard to a medical device, with respect to a medical device, it is the clinical data and the clinical evaluation report. Okay, it is nothing but the clinical data and the clinical evaluation report, whatever we have to consider. Again, it has to support the scientific validity. Again, it has to support the scientific validity. So we will see with a small picture what exactly a clinical evidence means. Okay, this all seems clumsy. Okay, right, whenever we are, okay, diagnostic medical device, a separate active medical device, what it is doing, the information collected from the specimen. Okay, we'll just go through. Okay, so this is about it. This is what is the clinical evidence. Okay, this is what an information about the clinical evidence 3K. Okay, please remember in MDR 2017, 3K refers to clinical evidence. The rule 3K refers to the clinical evidence. So what is clinical evidence actually? Okay, what all are covered in a clinical evidence? That is nothing but the intended purpose, the intended use or the intended purpose of the device and its scientific validity and its analytical performance. Okay, what all are included is its analytical performance, its clinical performance and its performance evaluation. Okay, if it is a diagnostic medical device, the information regarding the diagnosis, whatever the information, like for example, if we are using a pulse oximeter, like a diagnostic device like a pulse oximeter or something like a sphygmomanometer, like digital BP checking apparatus if we are using. So whatever the details, whatever the information we got from that digital BP checking apparatus. So what is the systolic blood pressure, what is the diastolic blood pressure and all. Like all the information is in accordance, whatever the information has to be given, is it in accordance with that of the MDR 2017 or not? With accordance to the manual or not? Okay, if it is giving the complete information or not. That is nothing but the clinical evidence. Okay, the information which is to be provided, whether it is completely provided or not, it is nothing but the clinical evidence. So what all information has to be provided? Like the intended purpose of the disease and its scientific device and its scientific validity, its analytical performance. See, we can see in certain medical devices or in certain things we can just see it is not intended for this purpose. Okay, it is only used for, should only be used for, like these terms will be mentioned. Okay, so whether it is satisfying that purposes or not is checked under a clinical evidence. That is all is covered under the clinical evidence part. Okay, that is about the clinical evidence according to that means a clinical evidence according to MDR 2017. Okay, so moving forward, we will see with the next rule 3L. Okay, 3L, the next one is about the clinical investigation. Again, very important. So, see, we have to establish, as we have established certain differences between a active medical device, active diagnostic medical device, active therapeutic medical device, as they are important, as the differences between those devices are important. In the same way, here these are also very important. What is the difference between a clinical evidence, because we may get questions in the examination. They may not, sometimes it may not be, the question may not be like 3L refers to. Okay, it may not be like that. The definition may be given. Okay, there is something like a definition or an example may be given, and that we have to identify within the options. We should be able to identify the right term for this, whether it is a clinical evidence or whether it is a clinical evaluation or whether it is a clinical investigation, everything. So everything is important. Every point, every element is important at this place, because we have already discussed the syllabus covers only exclusively, it is covering MDR 2017, which means that each and every element of MDR 2017 is very crucial. Okay. So we are studying about the clinical investigation. What is the difference between a clinical evidence and a clinical investigation? So investigation, the name itself says it is a systematic study. Okay, the study of the investigational medical device, whatever the medical device, whether it has been already approved or it is going for an approval. Okay, it depends. The clinical investigation, again here, it depends whether it is a PMS, like post-marketing surveillance, or whether it is a direct report. This clinical investigation, again, it depends upon whether it is a direct report or a post-marketing surveillance. For both the things, these clinical investigations will be different. The definition or the concept may vary. Okay, so it is the study, whatever it is the study of the investigational medical device, whatever the medical device we are testing. Okay, in a human participants, most of the time clinical investigation is that which is when a medical device is used in patients. Okay, the study report, okay, or the study procedure when this medical device is used in patients after establishing procedures with that of human subjects, normal human subjects. Okay, so hope I was clear. Okay, it is nothing but this is systematic or schematic study protocol. Clinical investigation is nothing but it is the study protocol that has to be followed in patients after its established procedures, after establishing a certain protocol or certain procedures in normal human subjects. Okay, what do we do? To assess its safety. Okay, to assess its safety, performance and effectiveness of the device. So the clinical investigation it exemplifies like what is the novelty of the disease. Like for everything, as it is similar to that of a clinical investigation of any new drug molecule. Okay, so clinical investigation of medical device is very much similar to that of the clinical investigation of any new drug molecule. Okay, like the novelty of the device and the risk classification of the device. So we are coming across this term so many times, the risk classification of the device. That means risk classification of the device is very, very important. Even in MDR point of view and even in the competitive examination point of view, in both points of view, risk classification is very important. We will study the risk classification in our further classes. Okay, and also we have studied that this risk classification is again related to the body orifice also. Yesterday we have discussed about this in our previous class. So the novelty of the disease and the risk classification of the disease and the outcome of this clinical evaluation. So there is a difference. Clinical investigation and clinical evaluation both are not same. Okay, both are not same. This clinical investigation, it is different from clinical evaluation actually. Okay, so what is clinical evaluation and what is clinical investigation? Investigation is nothing but the systematic study in human volunteers, direct systematic study or direct study in human volunteers. Evaluation, whereas evaluation is nothing but it is a theoretical assessment. Evaluation is nothing but it is a theoretical assessment. Okay, so the difference is investigation is sometimes remember this point also, the difference between an evaluation and investigation. Okay, so clinical investigation it is 3L. Yeah, so that was about clinical investigation, and the next one we have rule 3M is nothing but the clinical investigation plan. Okay, why are we discussing all these actually? All this, why do we need to discuss all these things like investigation plan? The differences are very, very important, because as we go across in the MDR 2017, as we go forward in MDR 2017, we come across all these terms somewhere or the other. Okay, even in the manufacturing rules, in the import rules, in the rules of sale, okay, in the post-marketing surveillance rules, so in all these rules, we come across them. We come across all these particular terms. Okay, and which term applies to which particular rule will be a important matter of concern. Okay, so the next is about the clinical investigation plan. So we all know that what is clinical investigation plan? It is a document or it is a protocol. Investigation plan is nothing but it is nothing but a document or a protocol. A document or a protocol which consists of the information. What all the information it contains about the rationale, the objective, the design and the proposed analysis of this. So investigation is nothing but the study. Clinical investigation, that is 3L, is about the study. Okay, 3M is about the study plan. That is the major difference. 3L is the study, direct practical study in human volunteers. But 3M is about the study plan. What all need to be, not about how it is to be studied. What all needs to be studied. What all are required in that particular study. Okay. And the records. So we will see what it is. So this is about a clinical investigation. This is how a clinical investigation plan looks like. Okay, what all are included in this clinical investigation plan? That is the design. That is the design of the investigation and the clinical review of the manufacturer's review, the clinical review, and also the complete plan. So how it is going to be performed, who all are going to be involved in this, who is the principal investigator. All these things, they come under the clinical investigation plan. Okay. Okay, that was about the clinical investigation plan, which is under 3M, rule 3M. Okay, next moving forward to rule 3N. 3N is about the clinical performance evaluation. Okay, clinical performance evaluation, very, very important. Just now we have discussed. So there are so many terms that are related to clinical here, and everything seems to be same. And all of them, they seem to be one and the same. The clinical investigation plan, clinical investigation, clinical evidence, clinical performance evaluation. So all of them, they seem to be one and the same, but they are not similar. They are not same even. Okay, they are not even similar. They have, each of the term has its own meaning. Okay, so we are detailing this because we are going into the details, and we are explaining, I'm explaining this in detail because whenever you get a question from these definitions, okay, from this point, okay, we should not miss out that. Once we understand each of the differences and each of the term clearly, then there is less chances of making mistakes. Okay. So what is the clinical performance evaluation? It is, just now we have studied about it, is a theoretical assessment. Theoretical assessment of what? Then theoretical assessment, does it not involve any practical moderations? No, it does involve practical moderations which are performed in the clinical investigation. Okay, which are performed in the clinical investigation. So this clinical performance evaluation, it is nothing but it is a report. It is nothing but it is a report, or it is a report of what? Report of the established protocol, established parameters which are compared to that of the parameters that are obtained after a clinical investigation. This clinical performance evaluation, it is nothing but it is a report. What does it show? So it is a report which shows the relation, between the theoretical parameters, between the theoretical means already established parameters to that of the obtained parameters, after this clinical investigation. Okay, so this is a complete performance evaluation. So that shows the performance of that particular device. So this is to show the performance of that particular device, whether the device is performing according to the limits, according to the protocols or parameters or not. Okay. So it is nothing but it is a performance study of a new in vitro diagnostic medical device or a specimen that is collected from a human participant. We will see what it is. Yeah. So what does performance evaluation include? This is very important. What does this clinical performance evaluation, what does this include? It includes the scientific validity. Again, just now as we have discussed, it includes the scientific validity, its analytical performance and the clinical performance. Just now as I have told you about this, it is a report. It is a report which mentions or compares its scientific validity and its analytical performance and correlation with the clinical performance. Okay, so this was about the clinical performance evaluation. Okay, so that was about the clinical performance evaluation, and moving forward to rule 3O. Moving to rule 3O, that is clinical research organization. So we are discussing here something, we are discussing about the CROs. CROs, we all know about the CROs, clinical research organizations. What is a clinical research organization especially? Okay, so a clinical research organization, to whom? Who is the mediator? Clinical research organization is nothing but which mediates. It is a mediator or it is a connecting body. It is a connecting body. We can say clinical research organization comes under 3O. Okay, organization for O. Please remember, if we have some questions like, so in the previous sessions also we were discussing we have to remember certain points with some marks or with some mnemonics kind. Okay, like 3O is for organization. 3O for organization, it is nothing but a clinical research organization. Okay. Okay, so what is the clinical research organization here? It is the mediator or it is the connecting body between a sponsor and the conduct of clinical study. Sponsor and the place or the medium where this clinical investigation study is conducted. It is nothing but it is a connecting body, connecting framework. Okay, so to whom a sponsor? The sponsor will give the responsibility to this CRO, to this clinical research organization to delegate. It is a delegate between this sponsor and the conduct of this clinical investigation. Okay, so we will see what all are involved with respect to a CRO. Okay, this CRO, it is a connecting body. Whom it is connecting? It is connecting the sponsor to that of the competent authorities and to that of the ethical committee and to the research center and the original research center. Okay, it itself sometimes it may be a research center or it may not be a research center. Okay, please remember, clinical research organization does not definitely mean that it should solely make all the functions that where the center performs. Okay, it should not perform all the functions that a center should perform. It need not be. It can make a part of the function also. Okay, so that is about a CRO. It is a connecting bridge between these authorities and the sponsors. Okay. So this is about a CRO. CRO comes under CRO is 3O. Okay. Yes, and one more very important aspect of this rule 3. One more important aspect of this rule 3 is nothing but the conformity assessment. It is nothing but the conformity assessment. What is conformity assessment? Okay. So far we have discussed about So conformity assessment is nothing but the examination of the evidence generated. So we have to confirm someone who is confirming. Who will confirm? Yeah, we will see. Who are confirming? Not yourself and myself. We are confirming. Yeah. No. Yes, we got. So if you are evaluating. If we are assessing a sphygmomanometer and you have got the result of your blood pressure to be 120/80. Okay, and you are confirming it to be yes, it is working properly. That is not conformity assessment. Okay, that will not be a conformity assessment. Okay, conformity assessment is about, that is the a particular organization or a particular body, statutory body, should confirm that it is safe to use or it is perfect to use. Okay, the systematic examination, so which is given by the manufacturer. Okay, it is generated and it is given by the manufacturer to define that a medical device is safe, and it is its performance and evaluation report. Its performance and safety evaluation report. It is nothing but the conformity assessment. Conformity assessment does not deem to be when it gives a correct result, or if it is giving a wrong, it is not like that. It is not like that. After the complete evaluation protocols, okay, based on the data and based on the information and based on the complete data, so who is giving that? Who is giving that? Okay, so it is between the manufacturer and the notified body. It is between the manufacturer and the particular responsible notified body. This conformity assessment report, it should be dealt with the manufacturer and the notified body. Okay, and after this manufacturer and notified body, they are in consensus with each other. If they are in agreement with each other and they occur on the same place, they occur on the same path, then the certificate of conformity will be given. Okay, that is nothing with this mark. Okay, conformity assessment. Once the conformity assessment is done, once the medical device is deemed to be completed to its conformity assessment, it gets this mark. Okay, this mark, very important. Conformity, CE refers to, or CE relates to what? CE relates to what of medical devices rules, or conformity assessment relates to which of them? Okay, which of the following symbols? It is very important. CE. Okay, conformity assessment is completely directly related to the CE mark. Okay, once it is done and the conformity certificate is given, this mark is given CE. Of this mark, this CE, this shows that the conformity assessment is done for this particular device, and then it can be placed, into the market. Okay, so this was about the conformity assessment. Okay. Yes. So, and moving forward to rule 3Q. Again very important. So, what happens? We are not sure. Controlling officer. 3Q is about the controlling officer. Rule 3Q says about the controlling officer. Who is the controlling officer? It may be anyone from this. So, as notified under MDR. So there are so many officers, so many statutory bodies, so many notified bodies, many officers notified under MDR 2017. But is everyone deemed to be a controlling officer? Does everyone come under a controlling officer? Deems to be a controlling officer? No. Who deems to be a controlling officer? Yes, we will see. Okay, controlling officer is nothing but the officer designated under Rule 10. Okay, then again we have to jump to Rule 10. Now we are studying Rule 3. Again we have to jump to Rule 10. Okay, no issues. I am here for that purpose. Okay, you don't need to immediately jump to the Rule 10 for this purpose. I am here to help you out. So, controlling officer, according to MDR 2017 Rule 3Q, the controlling officer is nothing but any officer not below the rank of additional drug controller. Okay, if you are drugs inspector, okay, and all these all these persons, they do not directly come under the controlling officer. The controlling officer alone, according to MDR, according to the Rule 10, according to Rule 10 of MDR 2017, any person is known as a controlling officer. Who is that? Who is not below the rank of, okay, who is minimum, they should have a rank of the additional drug controller, assistant drug controller, ADC, assistant drug controller. Okay, any officer who has a rank, who is not below the rank of the assistant drug controller as designed or as is designated by the DCGI, as is designated by the drug control department. Okay, they are deemed to be a controlling officer. Okay, so in this we'll have many officers like medical device officers, medical device controlling officers, okay, drug controlling officers. Like this, there will be many officers we come across under MDR 2017, but the controlling officer will be not less than the rank of additional drug controller. Okay, assistant drug controller, sorry, according to rule 10. Yes, and the most important part, very important part again. Okay, so very similar to that of an active medical device or active therapeutic medical device, we have the custom made medical device. Very important once again. Okay, so what is a custom made medical device? Custom made, it is nothing but customized. Okay, custom made is nothing but, the term is given as custom made, but it is nothing but a customized medical device. The term itself indicates custom made or customized. Means it is any medical device which is made or which is designed according to a particular purpose. According to a particular purpose. Here we can see the definition also. It is made in a specific provisions. The devices which are made according to specific provisions in accordance with the prescription of a registered medical practitioner or according to the requirements of a particular patient or a particular person. They are not manufactured, these custom made medical devices, they are not manufactured or they are not sold or imported in bulk. They are not made in bulk. Custom made medical devices are those which are specifically or particularly designed for a particular to a specific relevant area, into a relevant area, or according to the prescription of a registered medical practitioner, or according to a definite specific needs of any patient or a person. Okay, so in that case only it can be called as a custom made device. Okay, here also we can see that does not include the mass production of such device. It does not include. According to MDR 2017, this is the most important and valuable information, that it should not be produced in a mass scale. Because it is custom made, it should not be produced in a mass scale. It should have these considerations: the prescription or a specialization in a relevant, or a person specialized in relevant area, under his responsibility only under the responsibility of a registered medical practitioner. Okay, not to be made under their own regulations. Okay, this MDR specifically mentions this. Okay, so this is about a customized or custom made medical device. Okay, there are many examples to that of this custom made medical devices, like prosthetic limbs. Okay, custom made medical devices. The examples of these custom made medical devices include the prosthetic limbs, the implants, prosthetic limbs, certain implants, and dental crowns especially. Yeah, dental crowns and dental implants. Dental crowns, prosthetic limbs, braces especially. Braces. So these are all custom made. All these things, braces, limbs, prosthetic limbs, implants, dental crowns, all of them, they are covered under medical devices, but they belong to a special category of custom made medical devices. Okay, they cannot be generalized and they should not be produced or manufactured in bulk. Okay, there is no mass production. Like the prosthetic limbs, once again, dental crowns, braces, all these devices are considered under the custom made medical devices. Okay, or orthopedic implants, something like the orthopedic implants. Okay, so this is about rule 3R, that is nothing but the custom made medical devices. Yeah, one of the most probables. We may get, sometimes the questions are probable or possible, like braces or dental crowns comes under the category of, according to MDR 2017, dental crowns or braces, something like that, are categorized under so active therapeutic medical device, or active diagnostic medical device, or a custom made medical device, or something any other like that. Okay, any other medical device like that. Okay, so then the answer should be, then the answer will be, it is a custom made medical device. Okay, because it can be customized. And also on the medical device, that the medical devices that can be made or that can be manufactured only under the supervision or only on the prescription of a registered medical practitioner are, okay, all these things, active medical devices or some other therapeutic kind of medical devices or diagnostic medical devices or inactive medical devices, non-active medical devices, they are not, all of them, they are not made under the prescription of a registered medical practitioner. Only custom made devices are made under the prescription of a registered medical practitioner, and whenever this is manufactured, it should have a proper data or it should have this prescription attached with it. Okay. Yeah, all these things like a dental crown, dental guards, this prosthetic limbs, they all come under this category of custom made medical devices, which comes under 3R, very important, the competitive examination point of view. Okay, so we will end up here. So because we are going live, I think I will be able to take any questions from whoever is available. Okay, so from now on we are going live from today at 3 p.m. daily, regularly, and we will discuss various such important and interesting aspects of medical devices rules. So everyone has the same concept of this medical devices rules, everyone has the same theory, but the difference the only difference comes is how to understand, how to memorize within this short time, within this short span of time, how to understand and memorize. For this we are conducting we have undertaken and we are conducting a 50-day course of this Drugs Inspector, UPSC Drugs Inspector medical devices especially, and we are covering with all the aspects other than medical devices rules 2017. Also, we are also covering all the remaining syllabus aspects like general science and computer applications, what all the syllabus is mentioned in the examination, from the examination board. Okay, so if anyone is interested in traveling with us further and taking the course specifically with us and to achieve your respective goal, yes, so you can contact us on these particular numbers. These are our numbers which are even given in the description box. So please feel free to contact us anytime for admissions and for your consistent preparation. Okay, all these things. So as we have gone through now so much, we are still following only rule 3, but you can see so many complications out there in rule, we are still at the beginning of the MDR 2017, but we can notice so many complications. So by this we can understand that this needs a systematic training. Okay, this needs a systematic approach, systematic training, and we are here to help you out. Thank you all very much for watching, and after watching this video and before leaving, please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you all very much for watching.